Mark Goldbridge, that's football for Arsenal versus Brighton, the watch along. How are we all doing? I haven't done a watch along on here for a while, and we are doing Everton versus Chelsea at the weekend, and Everton have just had their manager sacked, so that will be a game that we'd already chosen that I'm looking forward to. But a bonus feature tonight because I just thought, Thursday night football, I didn't expect there to be anything happening tonight, and there's a game of football to watch, so we're here. The game doesn't kick off till 8:15. I'm currently watching Sheffield United against Newcastle at the moment, and Newcastle are winning 1-0, so this is a 8:15 kickoff, so we're on the old Amazon Prime again. But how are you all doing this Thursday evening? I hope you're doing well. Get involved in the chat. Silva gone, says Ziad. I mean, look, I can talk about that more. I've just been doing a show on the United Stand previewing the Manchester Derby. And I think that it's... we've spoken about it a few times on here. I actually got it wrong. I got it right with the Watford manager at the start of the season that he'd be the next manager sacked. And I've been saying Marco Silva will be the next manager sacked for a long time, and he didn't. Emery went first. So... but Marco Silva should have gone a long time ago. I don't know whether we've got any Everton fans watching tonight, but he really should have gone before now. And I think what amazed me is that there was an opportunity to get rid of him. I mean, they were always going to lose to Liverpool with him, and they've gone with him. So they stuck by him, which I thought was just really odd. And I think sometimes clubs do surprise you in how... I mean, look at Watford. They're already on their third manager this season, and Santa's not emptied his sack yet. So, not in that way, you filthy people. But, I think Everton did keep by Silva for a long time. There's talk of David Moyes. I know a few Everton fans, and I know they'd be really unhappy with that. So... but that's Everton's problem. If they think David Moyes back at their club is a good idea, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's bordering on stupidity, football suicide, because David Moyes hasn't been a good manager for 10 years. Nearly 10 years. He came to United in 2013, didn't he? So he's another relic. So I just don't get that. I mean, to tell you what, I wouldn't mind Everton. It won't happen because he will want to go to the Euros. But Ryan Giggs Everton would be a nice one. But I don't think it will happen. To be honest with you, Pepe on the bench again, says somebody who doesn't actually have a username. They're just a dot. But let's have a look at the team news. You're quite right to say that. 8:15 kickoff then. These weird Amazon times. But Leno in goal. Bellerin, Papadopoulos, Davids, Luis and Kolasinac. Xhaka, Torreira and Willock. And then Aubameyang, Ozil and Lacazette. So no starting place for Guendouzi. No starting place for Pepe. Very interesting that Ljungberg's second job in charge as the interim manager, not played Pepe in either. I don't see Ljungberg getting anywhere near getting this job full time. And I was talking to DT and Troops on Tuesday because we were doing something with Rants in London, and I did say that the worrying thing from your point of view, Arsenal, is that when you get a new manager in, you always 99% of the time you get a bounce. I was convinced I even thought Emery was going to beat Norwich, so I was stunned when you very luckily got a point against Norwich. So it's an interesting game tonight because Arsenal, if they win, can go up to 6th place outright. They'd be in 6th, which isn't too bad. I mean, yeah, you're still 10 points off 3rd and 7 points off 4th, but win for Arsenal and they're into that position. But interestingly enough, if Brighton were to win... nothing really happens. Brighton have absolutely plummeted, haven't they? I mean, I didn't realise this. So United played Brighton not that long ago. They came to Old Trafford, they fancied their chances, and we stuffed them. And at that point, I think if Brighton had won, they were top 6. A few short weeks later, they're 16th, and they are a point off the relegation zone. So Brighton are dropping like a stone, literally dropping like a stone. So a Brighton rock, they're dropping like. So... but they only got beat 2-1 by Liverpool, didn't they, at the weekend? They were atrocious against United. I don't think they're that good, but you just don't know. But this sort of game, I think it's quite intriguing, and I think the game on Monday night, which we're going to probably do as a watch along as well, which is West Ham Arsenal, I think it is set up for as two tricky games for Arsenal. So We will see. We will see. Nice to see you cover lower level teams, says Murray. Welcome, mates. And their viewing numbers have just shot up over 1,000, which is great. So please do subscribe if you're new and share the video. If you could do, that'd be great. Twitter and Facebook. Sheffield United are laying siege to Newcastle's goal here at the moment, but I turned it on. It was 1-0 to Newcastle. So from a United point of view, it would be good if Sheffield United don't win, because they'd go back above us if they win. In fact, United would go down to 9th, I think, if Arsenal and Sheffield United were to win tonight. Dave Jordan says that Brighton have played Leicester and Liverpool since United, and now Arsenal. So yeah, but they've lost they've lost 3 in a row, haven't they? So Brighton to at least draw, please make my day, says Hyperion Rad, so we can have Arsenal fan TV and chill. The thing about, I mean, look, that video's not coming out until just before the Arsenal game, so it's not even a spoiler alert, but we were chatting, with one of the challenges we were doing, and I said, as an Arsenal fan base, and I don't know how many Arsenal fans we've got here, but as an Arsenal fan base, what do you do now? Because this is what my fear is with United. If and when we do get rid of Ollie, how long does the next manager get? And Arsenal gave Emery basically a year. I mean, yeah, a bit longer than a year, but he came in the summer. He had all of last season, and then they've given him 3 or 4 months of this season. And when they sacked him, I think Arsenal pretty much were 5th. So basically what they're saying is, a team that's never been near the title for a decade, you bring a new manager in, and if you're not getting as near the top, the title in the first year, you're gone. So how long do you give your new manager? Whether it's Ljungberg, whether it's Allegri, whether it's Pochettino, whether it's bloody Jurgen Klopp, I could see the Arsenal fan TV boys and Arsenal fans after 6 months going, nah, this isn't right, get him out. The patience, and I'm not having a pop at them there, but when you keep doing the same thing and keep getting rid of managers, patience gets thinner and thinner and thinner. And I think as an Arsenal manager, you aren't going to get time if you're going to drop silly points. And they'll say, oh, it's because of the brand of football. But I still think that even if you played really good football, if you were dropping points in games like this, it wouldn't take long for Arsenal fans to turn on you. And that's the challenge that they've got. What do you think of Amazon Prime's content, says Simon Cliff? I think, in fairness, I think it's been good. My only issue with it is the delay. I do get phone notifications about goals that I haven't seen yet. But to be honest with you, I thought last night for the United game, it wasn't too bad on our watch along. We weren't that far behind many people, but you do have to keep refreshing it, because I have noticed a couple of times that when I've refreshed it, it does jump forward by a few seconds. So, yeah, that's the only thing. Obviously, Klopp to Arsenal is never going to happen, Brighton. I was using it as an example that if Klopp did go to Arsenal and after a year the results were still a bit dodgy, they wouldn't probably be patient with him, even though, of course, you'd want to be patient with somebody like that. Do you think Ollie will go to a back 5 against Man City, says Joshua Healy? No, I don't. I think he'll just have the 2 holding midfielders. The reason Emery got sacked is because the goal for the season was top 4. He did worse than last year, and the board saw that it wasn't going to happen, and they acted, says Smile. I don't. I wanted Arsenal to keep Emery. I wanted Arsenal to keep Emery because I knew he was going to fail there. But what I'm saying, that wasn't my point. I'm not saying that Emery shouldn't have got the sack. But what I'm saying is, this next manager of Arsenal won't get a lot of time. Patience will be thin. Ed Deadwood decided against Director of Football, apparently, says 5D Gamer. I haven't seen about that, but I will certainly look at that for tomorrow morning's press conference reaction, because if that is the case, then United are dead food again with Woodward in charge anyway. I'd argue that with anyone. I want to ask, do you or have you ever been into Fantasy Premier League? And that's from Jamed H. Yes, I have. I used to do it a lot. But I used to be very good at Fantasy Premier League because I used to spend a lot of my work time in my previous employer's time doing Fantasy Premier League. Like literally, I'd spend probably half an hour a day, researching, and that's why I was quite good. In my final season, I was in a different job. I was very busy, and I just used to do it 10 minutes before the deadline, and I found myself mid-table. So that's why I stopped doing it, because you either do it properly or you don't do it at all. So I stopped doing it, to be honest with you. Any chance in hell Poch to Everton, says Arturo Venegas. Never say never, mate. Never say never. I mean, I'm sure Everton fans will try and think that that's a possibility. I would say there's no chance, but you never know. You never know. Everton have spent more money than Spurs in the last couple of years, and I think that's the justification for Marco Silva to be sacked. There was a manager who needed the sack. They spent a lot of money over the last 2 summers, and I'm sure they're very pissed off because the money he's had and the results they've had, it's shocking. If United finish 6th or 7th, do you think Ollie remains as United manager next season, says Jordan Such? Well, I think that's realistically where Manchester United will finish. I don't know whether you were watching my preview show, but I did say that in there, that United, if you're an Arsenal fan or you're a Spurs... I mean, look, Spurs lost to United last night, but I'll guarantee you there's a very good chance that Spurs will be above Manchester United on Saturday night because... Well, I say that without looking at the actual fixtures, but let me just have a quick look at this. Yeah, so Spurs are at home to Burnley on Saturday afternoon and we're playing Manchester City. So if we lose and they win, they're back ahead of us. It's a 38-game season. And I think that what's going to happen in relation to the Premier League is that... Manchester United have got a good record against the top 6, and they have, but we've played all 5 of those games against the top 6 so far at Old Trafford, so we've got to play all 5 of those in the second half away from home. So, there you go. Do I rate Leno, says Jeremiah? This, again, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I do remember, actually. We were doing this challenge on Tuesday. 2 of the Arsenal fan TV lads, DT and Troops, against me and Rance from the United stand. And we were waiting for one of the challenges, right? And they thought that one of the challenges was going to be a combined United-Arsenal 11. And DT and Troops both said, we're definitely arguing for Leno in goal. And me and Rance just were laughing our head off. And they were going, what? De Gea's nowhere near as good as he used to be. Well, no. And I said, look, Leno was brilliant against Norwich. But you ain't having Leno over De Gea. But Leno has been very good this season. But get out and walk if you think he's going to hit in a combined 11 over De Gea. No chance in a million years. So, but he is a decent goalie. I agree with Gary Rage. I thought that Leno at the weekend against Norwich was fantastic. And he is a good goalkeeper. But he's not on the level of De Gea. But he is a good goalkeeper. You think Man United will win Europa League and the FL Cups, as Ataro Venegas? I think that United's best chance of silverware this season is the Europa League because Man City and Liverpool aren't in it. Carabao Cup, you're probably going to have to beat Man City to win it. FA Cup, you could probably Man City again. They take these tournaments seriously, but Man City are not in the Europa League. So to win the Europa League, United are probably going to be up against Arsenal, Inter Milan probably. It's more winnable. And if you win it, you're in the Champions League. So, yeah, it is winnable. They need to be changing my channel here. Why have I not got Man United? Not Man United. Why have I not got Arsenal Brighton? Oh, because I clicked on the wrong game. There we go. Not that it mattered. There we go. So we're ready. Are you ready? Are you ready for love? Thursday night football. Arsenal, they've got the comfy slippers on. They've got the advantage because it's Thursday night football. Michael Rain says, I'm coming from Texas to the United game on Boxing Day. Would love to see and talk to Flex. Also love the show. I'm sure you'll be able to, Michael. We're always there. Outside Hotel Football. Bada bing, bada boom. This game's about to kick off. Score prediction, 3-0 to Arsenal. I can't see how Arsenal don't win this game. I've not been impressed with Brighton this season. I predicted Brighton would go down. A month ago, everybody was saying you're mad. They're not saying that now, are you? Brighton, I think, are going to go down, and I can see Arsenal winning this 3-0. And we're off. We're off. Thanks for all the super chats that are coming in. Amma Garab says, we saw how big difference one player, Mayo, made yesterday. Do you think Pogba can make us the team we expected to be this year, a.k.a. 3rd or 4th? Well, look, everybody assumes that Pogba's going to move into this attacking midfield position where we're rubbish. But I'd certainly like to see Pogba playing in that position Lingard was playing. But bloody hell, Arsenal could have been 1-0 down there. Ball over the top. Lewis and Leno not communicating very well. I thought Leno was going to get there quick. He didn't. And it could have been 1-0 to Brighton. Bloody hell. Zane Production says, keep up the great content. I love you. Well, thanks everyone who's tuning in. I love doing the United stand. It's, I went off a few times tonight on the United stand because I'm absolutely pissed off with our fan base just arguing, and I just think it's so embarrassing when you're arguing with fellow United fans and being abusive. I really do. But I love United and I love doing the United stand, but I really do love doing this channel because that's football everybody's welcome on here. It's just football games that I watch and I just do live streams for. So, and that's what this channel's about. It's a general love for football. Good interception. Ooh, and then Arsenal nearly getting in. Aubameyang was intercepted. I think Willock was coming in. End to end at the moment. And I'll tell you what, Brighton are having a go. But did the wash and go mascot scare you at first, says Atari? But oh, mate, when you're managing a football game like that, and then somebody comes up to you dressed up in a wash and go mascot wanting to get content, I thought I was actually quite polite. I felt like telling them to go and do one. That's why I said wash and go. The game started, Mark. Yeah, I have just spoken about 2-goal incidents, and that's why we've got the timer going as well. Apparently I'm ahead of a couple of people on Amazon Prime. I'm 2 minutes and 10 in. Very open game so far, says Bay Area Boogie Boo. It is. It's been very open. Ozil back in favour. Emery just didn't like Ozil at all, did he? I can see there being a lot of goals here. Brighton, to me, are already doing the same thing they did against United at Old Trafford. They're playing very open. A lot of empty seats at the Etihad. I nearly called it the Etihad. A lot of empty seats at the Emirates. I don't know whether that's because it's people getting there late because of London traffic, or it's because people can't be arsed. But and Christopher Cole says, "Go on Arsenal. We got to win and be in 6th today." I think this is a very deceptive league table this year, isn't it? Because we saw Ollie saying that after the Villa game, I'm not bothered about the league because it's so tight. And it is ridiculously tight between 5th and 10th, but it's not tight between 5th and 4th. Like, there's a 7-point gap, isn't there? So you can get yourself into like 5th quite comfortably with a couple of wins, but getting beyond that, I don't think it's going to happen. I think I did the video on this channel yesterday, didn't I? Saying, can Arsenal, Spurs or United get in the top 4? And I think Spurs losing yesterday shows me that they probably can't. And I certainly don't think United and Arsenal have got the consistency. So I probably would say, even though it's not even Christmas, the top 4 is going to be as is. Can you say Tariq Abu Asi is a fraud? Thanks, says Khalil Zouar. Tariq, there you go. Obviously one of your mates. Arsenal have a corner. Daryl Bingham, the United Stand team is still playing. We put up a video on Wednesday night. If you go and check out that playlist, we had our first game in the Blood Brothers League. That went up on Tuesday night. So it's on the United Stand FC playlist. It went up this week. And there's another one next week for the next few weeks. Brighton clear the corner. I'd say Arsenal are marginally on top at the moment, but it's been quite an open game. And again, Leno's having to be quick off his line there because that ball's coming over the top. As much as Brighton are giving it a good go at the moment, I do think that that United are not United. Arsenal will be pleased with this because Brighton are playing very open, which means that they can get in at them as well. Yeah, the thing about Amazon Prime is you can turn off the commentary and just have the crowd noise and me if you want. Yeah. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner, and please do share the video. Really appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. I know it was impromptu. I said I didn't say I was going to do this one. We're definitely doing our Everton versus Chelsea on Saturday lunchtime. Looking forward to that. Silva's gone. Corner comes in. Arsenal clear it. Marco Silva has been sacked. I'm not going to pretend that I'm surprised by that. It should have happened a long time before that, as far as I'm concerned. And another cross there. That's gone out for a goal kick. Would you rather lose McTominay or lose Pogba, says Caledon? That's a very good question for United fans. Very, very good question. I would say that for United, it's probably more important that Scott McTominay plays, even though Pogba is quite clearly the better player. Did you hear that if Ollie loses against City, he's sacked, says Lucas789? I doubt it. I really do doubt that, to be honest. I mean, what you've got to remember with United is they don't actually want to sack Ollie. So that win last night probably giving him another year, really. How was it? Was it PSC? Cross comes in here, and it's a corner to Arsenal. So first 10 minutes has been quite equal without any really good chances. But Brighton do play this open brand of football. They did it against us at Old Trafford, and we were able to, well, we should have beat them 7-0 really. How's your day been today, Mark? Trim is fresh, says Jay Singh. I've had this trim about a week now, haven't I think? Just over a week. But yeah, good day. Good day, and I just felt like doing this tonight. I must admit, this is a positive for me, Amazon Prime. Thursday night Premier League football. I've quite enjoyed it. And back post flicked header there. And I think Lacazette wants a push, but I don't think he's going to get it. Mark, what do you ask for at the barbers? A haircut, Yusuf? No, I'll be honest. I have a 2 back and sides faded in, a shaved parting, and about an inch off the top. How do I think United will do against City, says Clay's Techers? I think that United will have to get something from that game to show progress. Corner coming in from Ozil there. Remember when Ozil used to get loads of assists on Fantasy Premier League, actually? Luis, good shot, well held, and Lacazette was there to follow in. But keeper spilled it slightly, a little bit lucky there, and I think he knows it, appealing for a foul on him. But it's a low shot from David Luiz across the box, from the edge of the box. It's a difficult take for the goalkeeper, and Lacazette's on him in a flash, and it would have been offside anyway. But he spilt it a little bit. And he's just closed them down there. Arsenal, what I would say about Arsenal tonight is that I expect Arsenal to win, but they must win, because this is not Arsenal under Emery. This is Arsenal with Emery gone. And whilst I don't think Ljungberg will be their manager, I really don't, that doesn't matter. This is about the players. This is about how the players perform. And if the players are not picking up points when Emery's gone, then yeah, Emery deserved to go. But it really does reflect badly on the Arsenal players. And I see this a lot with United, and I think Spurs are going to see it with their players. you almost fall into the trap that you think a new manager is going to change everything. But actually, we should always have our eyes open to the fact that, you know what, it's probably a lot of the players why we fail as well. Yeah, tactics are massively important, but if Arsenal are failing, and Aubameyang should be a goal, Lacazette, what a save by Ryan, and it's offside anyway. I thought they were going to score there, but yeah, if Arsenal are not picking up points when Emery's gone, it's a big hint that the players are the problem. And we've seen this at United over the last 6 years. There's a lot of the same players there that on their day they can beat anybody, but they are ridiculously inconsistent as well. I think Arsenal struggle with that. Mahandrin says, I'm so happy that Ollie's staying. It was a close one with Poch, but now Ollie's staying for you. This is what I mean. Rival fans do not want us to sack Ollie. Z says, do you think Poch could really go to Arsenal? Look, I saw Sol Campbell go from Spurs to Arsenal. I never thought that could happen. So I'd be 90% sure that Pochettino will not go to Arsenal. But there's a 10% chance, and you know, you could roll that 10%. So I'd never say never, because I might look a bit stupid. But as I said before, when I was speaking to Troops and DT the other day, they were like, both wanted Pochettino. And I said it's hilarious because if you did get them, imagine you know, when you react to it, you'll be going, yeah, it's great, it's great. And every clip people will go and get from the last 3 or 4 years where you've called Poch this, that and the other, you're going to be memed again. And then I said, actually, that's not going to stop you, is it? But it just shows you how rivalry can blind you, can't it? I mean, I used to say it when Klopp went to Liverpool at the start. I was like, he's shit. I'd never want him at United. But you actually do open your eyes and go, look, Klopp's a very good manager. He might be at our rivals. You know, I don't want them to win anything while he's there, but he's a good manager. Please share the video if you're watching. We're nearly at 3,000 people watching, which is fantastic. Bottom right hand, underneath the video, you can share it on Twitter and on Facebook. So please do that. Sancho's not joining, says Chelsea till I die. Probably think he's going to Chelsea, don't you? I think Liverpool are favourites at the moment with him. But Sancho's not going to come to United if we're not in the Champions League. And I've said this consistently, so it's not something that I'm going to argue with, because I've said that. I've been saying that for a long time. But United fans want to believe. United fans are quite silly, and I'm sure all club football fans are like this, to be fair. They believe the hype of possibility, and they don't realise as just how much our club leak to the press for purposes of social media expansion. They even said it in their shareholders meeting before last, how transfer stories generate massive social media interaction. Harry Grigg says, what do you think about the Macclesfield Town situation? Enlighten me, mate. I must admit, I'm ignorant to it, so let me know. Erxor says Sancho to Leicester would be exciting. It would also be a dream, mate. It's never going to happen. Well done, boy. Moyes a good player, isn't he, for Brighton? Good little bit of play there. Brighton just not able to make anything stick with their front two at the moment. I wouldn't change my opinion. I think Arsenal will win this. It's very open, and I think even if Brighton were to get an early goal, they're not going to change the way they play. And I remember when United played Brighton, I didn't really know much about them, and everyone was like, "Oh, Brighton are going to turn up and play you off the park. Their manager plays a really expansive style of football," and I think he does. I just don't think his players are that good when it comes to the top side. So I firmly expect Arsenal to win this game. I've had my dinner, Kalani. I had Kejari. If anyone knows what that is, there you go. Turkish says that Aguero is the greatest Premier League striker, in my opinion. He's certainly up there, mate. I can't disagree with you. I don't agree with you, but I think it's an opinion that is a valid one. It's just not one I share with. I don't think he's the best striker in Premier League history as far as I'm concerned, but he's certainly up there. Brighton still trying to find a way forward. I mean, Brighton are doing very well getting up to the sort of Arsenal back line, but then they're not getting through. So I don't know whether that's just poor in the final third or Arsenal defending well. But at the moment, Arsenal looking like they're more likely team to score in what has been quite an open game. What do people think of Ozil? What do you think of Ozil? Because there's no doubt, there was a time where you could say he was one of the best attacking midfielders in the game. And here he is with a cross. And Lacazette. Over. I thought he scored. Is he offside that time again? Yes. He's been offside 3 times now, Lacazette. But yeah, Ozil. What do you think about Ozil? He's... I find it amazing the amount of money he's on. It was actually Ozil who was offside there. The amount of money he's on and the amount of games he's played since he signed that contract. And somebody just said he's too old there. I mean, how old is he? He can only be about 30, 31. I mean, for the sort of player that doesn't rely on pace, that shouldn't be dropping him off. I mean, I remember Peter Beardsley at Newcastle playing ridiculous good shot there from Brighton, straight at Leno, but a good bit of skill to get the shot off. He should still be playing a hell of a lot better than he actually does, Ozil. It's almost like he's lost interest in the game, isn't it? Niall Dawson says United versus City combined 11. Very easy. Take the Man City team sheet and submit it. I don't see one United player getting in a Man City 11. I don't. The only arguments are the centre-backs because City's centre-backs are so bad. But if Laporte's fit, he's in. Maybe Harry Maguire gets in ahead of John Stones, I suppose. But, and I don't say that to be negative. I just don't really think that you can be biased and put a United player in a combined Man City United 11. Even De Gea, who I would have put in there, I think Ederson's been better than him the last couple of years, hasn't he? H. Regan says, in relation to Ozil, he's a player with immense talent who was smothered with crap tactics and then gave up. Interesting. Interesting opinion there. A few people saying De Gea should be in over Ederson. And Eric Graves says Rashford on form. Yeah, but I don't pick combined 11s on form. I pick combined 11s on what the best players are at each club. And there's no way Rashford gets in. I mean, Rashford wouldn't have even got in a United front three a month ago on form. So, ooh, Brighton are saying they should have a penalty there. I think it's actually offside. Oh no, he's given a penalty. He has given a penalty. Penalty at Arsenal. Penalty at Arsenal. It's going to VAR. I think it looked like the sort of penalty that wouldn't be given. It goes over the top. Over the top. It's not going to be a penalty anyway. It's outside the box. Yeah, it's not a penalty. Hector Bellerin booked though. A little bit cynical. definitely just outside the box, which is where the foul occurs. I think it was a little bit of simulation, really. But to be fair, I'm always a big fan of that. Not simulation, but I'm always a big fan of the fact that he has got a right to go down when there's an arm on his shoulder like that. But it's a free kick right on the edge. It was just inside. Do I think Newcastle will hold on, says Sarah Garland? From what I saw, Sheffield United were all over them, but it's not a penalty then. It's a free kick right on the edge of the box. Bellerin pulling him back. And does Moy take free kicks for Brighton? Because he has got good tackers. But this would be a turn up for the books if Brighton were to go in front. Ewan Thomas is calling it now that Moy will score. And Dane Horton says that Ollie's going to make it till New Year now with that win yesterday. If he makes it to New Year, he'll make it till the summer at least because he'll get money in the New Year. It doesn't look like Moy's actually going to take the free kick anyway. It's going to be Gross or Gross, however you say it. That's a good question from Manas Cabe. He says, Zaha or Pepe? Straight into the wall with the free kick. Not a good free kick at all. Straight into the wall mid-drift. Z says, Mark, do you eat low carb to keep fit? No, I don't eat low carb at all. I eat a lot of carb, always have done. I think I just sort of... My metabolism is quite... keeps me in shape, I suppose. My dad's the same, to be fair. But Brighton have been confident in this game without being able to get ahead. But lovely little bit of play there. And Xhaka makes a tackle, but it doesn't work out. And now Brighton. And then that's a corner there as well. Klasnic with the cover. FIFA will be back, Wayne Rogerson. I was going to do FIFA today at lunchtime, but then I realised I thought I'd do the watch along. So I was like, why do FIFA at lunchtime to do another video on the evening? So I'll probably do FIFA tomorrow because it has been a while since I've done it. Brighton with the corner. 23 minutes gone. Up they go. Good header, but it's straight at Leno. I'd say Brighton are on top at the moment. George Ramos says, are you a vegetarian, Mark? No. In fact, join us for the watch-along on Saturday for the Manchester United derby on the United Stand, because we've got a sponsorship with Just Eat on Saturday, which I think is going to be a very interesting one because it's quite a lot going on this show. But we are going to be giving away discount codes and all sorts, and we've got quizzes and stuff. So it's going to be quite an interactive watch along. So if you like a takeaway on a Saturday, make sure you're joining us on Saturday because we've got a lot of stuff in relation to Just Eat, in which I can show you their cap. They've sent me the merch through, so it's going to be a good one, that. And I will be trying various foods throughout it. Would I kiss the Liverpool crest for a top 4 finish, says Gozzy. No. Kiss me ass. Brighton on the attack here. Lovely little bit of a run. And that'll go for a corner. Mark, mediocrity isn't a word. You mean mediocrity. Dave Jordan. I don't. Dave, I've said this before. I'm actually slightly dyslexic. So spelling and words I'm not great with. So... it's why I get names wrong a lot as well. People think I do it on purpose. Sometimes I do, but sometimes just my pronunciations, I struggle with them. So I obviously make up words that don't exist. I can deal with it. What do we think about the FA Cup draw, says H. Regan. Decent corner from Brighton there. And Moy. That's a decent cross as well. Back post. Oh, how do they not score? Bloody hell, Brighton are on top at the moment. He's got it on the back post. He smashes it across the face of the goal, and they can't slip it in. But our Arsenal improved, says Byro. I'll let the comments decide that. I don't think Arsenal are improved at all. It's a very equal game. And this is probably why they couldn't beat Norwich at the weekend. Very, very equal game. I wouldn't say Arsenal are terrible, but it's a very equal game. And in the last 5 minutes, Brighton have been on top. Jay Singh says, Mark, you should do a challenge when United stand hits 1 million subscribers, like skydiving or shaving your head and ollie out. All right. FA Cup draw, Liverpool versus Everton is quite an interesting one, especially now Everton will have a different manager. United Wolves will be a tough game. It's not that far away, is it? It's only like 4 weeks away, FA Cup. Brighton have got 60% possession, says Callas. Amazing. Shimal Goosh says there's no point in having Pogba at United now. After yesterday, he must go. Don't want to see him in a United shirt again. Get the fuck out, Pogba. Bit harsh, but it's all about opinion. Gary Rage, Lundberg, his underwear model. Can't even banter that. I just laugh. Best manager outside the Prem, says Even Scannell. I don't know. I've not really watched the Championship much this year. Arsenal on the attack. Oh, just wide from Aubameyang on the far side. He's gone bottom corner, but it's not gone. It's gone wide. Smutty the mod says, hope you're all behaving, guys. They've been good. They've been good. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. Everybody's welcome on here. It's there's a bit of banter and there is a bit of rivalry, but everybody's welcome. So do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Share the link if you have already subscribed. Dugout Football Channel says, you seen the latest Triple Eight Sport video? Load of crap. I haven't. I will have to give it a watch. What the fuck is this Arsenal atmosphere? Like League One, says Pricey. There are a lot of empty seats there and nobody's really given us an answer as to why that is. If anybody knows why there is a lot of empty seats at Arsenal, are fans just giving up a little bit Thursday night, not really that interested? I think a lot of it actually is later rivals, because it does seem a lot fuller now than it was in the first 5 minutes, to be honest. Jay Singh says, I'm from Wolverhampton and I'm hoping to get a ticket to the Wolves United FA Cup game. Any suggestions of the best chance of me getting a ticket? Ring up the ticket office. Sarah Garland's just subscribed. Thank you, Sarah. Time of the train, says Stephen Clark. Well, for anyone who's never been up to the Emirates, I was down there the other day actually, but I have been down there a few times in the last while, and it's pretty much central London, isn't it? So there was a shirt pull there. I don't know why VAR hasn't wanted to have a look at that. But it's not going to. Yeah, we're doing Everton-Chelsea, Fareed, on Saturday lunchtime. That's the next watch-along we'll be doing on here. Avo B says, talk about Silva sacking. I don't really have anything to say about that, because I actually think he should have been sacked a month ago. And I think for a club that's now in the bottom three like Everton, if they'd sacked him a month ago, it's been so tight. You know, it's not impossible to go from... If you look at the league table at the moment, it's not impossible to go from... Let's have a look, actually. Cross coming here from Brighton. Everton will clear. Yeah, Everton are on 14 points. If you win two... You know, you're only 2 wins away from going up to 8th from the bottom 3. And I think Everton, over their last few games, maybe would have picked up more points if they got rid of their manager, which was inevitable. They needed to get rid of him at some point. So I think he should have gone a long time ago. And I think Everton have, you know, jeopardised the season where they could have been in a bit of a better position if they'd just gone and changed their manager. And if they are going to go for Moyes, well, they could have gone for Moyes a month ago because he hasn't got a job. Brighton tried to play so much like City, says Fitness Unscripted Sharath. Yeah, they're like a Poundland version, aren't they, really? Which, with all due respect, they just haven't got the players of that quality. But they do play an expansive game, I agree. I haven't watched The Irishman yet, Gunjit. I don't want to watch it in hour segments. I want to watch it, but it's a 3.5 hour film, innit? So you've really got to plan that. Everton's next few fixtures is rough, says Peter 2234. Let's have a look at that. We can have a look at that. Yeah, you've got Chelsea at the weekend, then they've got United away, then they've got Leicester in the Cup, and then they've got Arsenal at home, and Burnley on Boxing Day. So it is a difficult run, but look at their last few games that they've lost. They've had Liverpool, Leicester, Norwich, and Southampton, which they did win against Southampton, but they lost at home to Norwich. They drew with Spurs. I would have sacked him after the Spurs game, to be honest. Or the Brighton game at the end of October. It was only going one way. It was only going one way. Come on, Brighton, says Ibrahim. They've overhit that. Goal kick. Sophie Bateman says, I love the shows and honesty. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks everybody who's watching. You make the shows what it is, because if I was just sat here on my own talking to myself, it would be pretty boring. So thanks everybody who watches and gets involved. Daniel Folan saying, come on, Arsenal. Davian Francis says, Moyes playing like a B-Tech Kevin De Bruyne. I'd say at the moment, Brighton are the better team. I think Arsenal, where's the bounce? You know, where is the bounce? It's just bang average. And a good shot and a good save by Leno there, low to his left. But as I was saying a few minutes ago, if there's no bounce when you sack a manager, you 100% have got to be looking at the players. This is the players at Arsenal. They're just not good enough. Even as an outsider who wants to see them lose because they're a rival, I'm stunned how poor Arsenal are. You know, you've sacked your manager. You were lucky to get a point at Norwich, and now you're lucky not to be losing at home to Brighton. Another good shot, and Leno holds it again. Top 4 prediction after 14 games. A of Beast. I predict it will stay as it is. I just don't see teams like Arsenal and Brighton, Arsenal and United and Spurs breaking that consistency barrier. They're just very, very inconsistent. Best Premier League captain, says H. Regan. I don't know, because if Van Dijk was Liverpool's captain, I'd say him. Oh, Brighton, they're knocking on the door. But for every... while it stays 0-0, Arsenal will surely step up and score at some point. Where's everybody watching from, actually? I haven't done that in ages. So let us know where you're watching from in the live comments, and I'll read some of them out. I mean, Arsenal are trying to press high up the pitch, but Brighton are having no problems just breaking that press and spending a lot of time around the edge of Arsenal's box. And here's Moy trying to get a shot off, and I think that'll be a corner, which it is. We've got people watching from Canada, Portsmouth, Florida, Ireland, Cobe In County Cork, says Even Scannell, Co-Bramblers. That's where Roy Keane was signed from by Nottingham Forest before moving to the mighty Manchester United. South Africa for Gondo, Chicago, Jamaica, Sweden, Scotland, New Zealand, says Mohammed, Nairobi in Kenya, says Simi Shundu, and Estonia, loads of people watching, which is fantastic. Brighton, 1-0. Now, I think it's been disallowed. I ain't going to celebrate this. Well, I wouldn't celebrate it anyway, but it just seemed to bounce about a little bit here. It's only what Brighton deserve. But it just feels a little bit like VAR to me. I think this is the bad thing about VAR, isn't it? You just don't celebrate any goals. Header, chest, shot, goal. It's whether it hits his chest here. No, that looks legit. That looks like a legit goal to me. Hey Mark, can you explain why Moyes ruined United, please? Says Polak Gal, because he's shit, mate. But it's 1-0. I'm just waiting to see. It looks like it is 1-0. They're not VARing that. So only what Arsenal deserve to be 1-0 down. Shocking. Arsenal probably go through the gears a little bit now, but they should have been doing that from the very start, shouldn't they? And Arsenal fans will not be very happy. And I suppose the next phase is, and that it's a big if to go from if Arsenal will lose or not. But the next phase would be with the fans to start turning on the players, I'm sure. But then that's quite an interesting thing to do when, you know, so many of these fans get on with the players, don't they? So. But that's where it's very easy to go in on the manager, isn't it? Because the manager's probably not he's not sliding into your DMs, interacting with you. But I think Arsenal's problem, looking at them again today, I watched the game at the weekend as well. I think Arsenal's problem is the players. They're just not performing anywhere near to the levels that they should be. I mean, Arsenal should not be being played off the park by Brighton. But to be quite honest with you, they are. And that's why it's 1-0. Let's go, Mark. Arsenal are losing. AFTV and chill, says Jay Singh. Banter pants, aren't they? I don't think there's any chance of Lundberg getting the job, is there? Although, Aubameyang, and that's a throw-in. Thank you. But Brighton have not stopped coming forward, and they've got overlaps. Oh, could have had a better chance there if he'd slipped it into Connolly. Yeah, where's Zane tonight? Says Harmon. Yeah, I don't realise we haven't heard from Zane tonight. I wonder where he is. Do you think United can get anything out of City? Says Axel Nielsen. I think they've got to. Otherwise, the Spurs result means very little if you then go and lose your next game. You've got to get some. Consistency is what United need. It's what Arsenal need. It's what Spurs need. And if you're going to get consistency, you've got to stay unbeaten, haven't you? Truthful Body says you've got to love Arsenal. Thoughts on Matt Ryan, another decent Aussie keeper, says Paul DeLuca. Yeah, he is. We probably jinxed him now. What a save. What a save. We were just talking about him then. I don't know whether that was why you said it, but a lovely cross in. Lacazette's level with the 6-yard box. Heads it towards goal. Probably should score. And Matt Ryan makes a save with his feet. Good play by Aubameyang. Lacazette's got to score there, really. But the keeper makes a good save with his feet. Ozil with the corner. Manager isn't the problem. Players are just awful, says Premier Marmot. Yeah, I agree. I think the players are the problem. Fitness and Scripted Sharath Kamath says they might end up losing, but this is what I want to see with United. A proper methodology with players I can't even name. This is football coaching. So it's true. Talking about Brighton, they do have a way of playing. Oh, come on. Arsenal now on the attack, of course. It's funny how football works, isn't it? You know, you go behind and you suddenly start playing. Or you get a lead and you suddenly sit back a bit. Would I take Moy at United to Serati? No. Dylan Y. Brown says, can Liverpool go invincible? God, don't upset Arsenal fans anymore. Oh, they could have been 2-0 up there. They could have been 2-0 up there. Connolly nearly slipping in. The other Brighton player I don't know the name of, but just couldn't get it through to him. Some of the runs Brighton have made off their strikers have been really good, but nearly. Apparently Newcastle are winning 2-0. Arsenal are wide open and I'm enjoying this, as Fitness Unscripted Sharath Kamath. 2-0 to Newcastle. Yes, they have scored. Brian Davidson and a few others have said so. Another good result for Steve Bruce and Newcastle there, isn't it? I mean, not the most exciting appointment after Rafa, but Newcastle have done very, very well under Bruce, and I don't know where that puts them in the league, but it means that Sheffield United will not be going ahead of United, so it's a good result from United's point of view. Although they are checking VAR, says Sadiq. That game's not going to be far off being over anyway. Well, I'll say that. Probably about 15 minutes to go in there. And Jonathan Adjuti is watching from Germany. What's weather like in Germany, Jonathan? It's here it's a little bit cold but damp, a bit windy as well. You just want a nice clear frost for a couple of weeks. That's what I want. Imagine Old Trafford being this empty, says Abdurrahman. It is working out well for United, because if Arsenal don't win and Sheffield United don't win, we stay in... Are we in 5th? Goal given to Newcastle. This is disgrace. Here he is. Zayn Miasi's here. He says this is disgraceful. You've still got another 45 minutes, mate. Lacazette's gone down looking for a penalty there, and I don't know whether they'll VAR it. Brighton are on the attack. Arsenal are in 10th as it stands. United are in 6th. Sorry. Oh, and Aubameyang's not very happy there. Yasha Makovsky says Arsenal and United have the same problems due to bad owners. They do not have the best transfer policies, therefore squads become deteriorated. The managers picked are not the best, but not the worst. Very good point. Very, very, very accurate point, to be fair. Thanks for that, Yasha. So we're approaching half time. That's a dive by Lacazette. He should get booked for that. Socrates has just been booked. So, actually, I think we've chosen... I'm very good at this. Anybody, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel, because the watch-alongs I pick to do on That's Football, I think 95% of the time, they're always a good game. And tonight I was just like, got a spare couple of hours, let's do it. But I did expect Arsenal to win. But then again, I expected them to beat Norwich at the weekend, and they didn't. So, and that is half-time. So it's 1-0 at half-time. And look, there's plenty of time to go left in this game. And I think if Arsenal step it up, the game, they can still get back into it. But there becomes a point, as I've said before, with Arsenal. I personally, as an outsider, think the players have got a lot to be... they've been dominated that half. Would anybody disagree with me? They've been absolutely dominated in that half. So, where's the justification to... Yeah, look, Emery did need to get sacked. I totally agree with that. But the players are the problem. There should be a bounce. I've seen it with United. We've seen it with Mourinho very recently. We've seen it year upon year. When a manager gets sacked during the season and another manager comes in, there's meant to be a bounce, because the players go... What happens is, look at what happened with Solskjaer last year as a United fan. So that these players are playing crap week in, week out under Mourinho. Mourinho goes and suddenly they go on a massive winning streak and they're playing brilliant from a week ago. Because the players go, we don't want to be the ones to blame. We don't want to be to blame, so we're gonna show everyone what we're all about. So Arsenal sack Emery, who's apparently the problem, and then the next game and a half after that, they're absolutely shit. So it just shows you it's the players with Arsenal. Just wondering why you chose to go live on one of the most irrelevant games of the season. PS big fan, says Mewtwo. Well, I just said that. I don't know. I don't know. I was just going to... I think it's because it's a Thursday night game. I would have done an Arsenal versus Brighton watch-along, but because it's a Thursday night game, I just thought I'm going to watch that. And then I thought, well, I'll just do a watch-along for it. And actually, it's been a good game. Brighton have played really well. They're 1-0 up. It's been... it's a watchable game. You're right. It could have been really, really boring, but it won't be boring if Arsenal blow it. Did you see the Black Friday thing in Italy? It's very sad, says Fitness Unscripted Sharath Kamath. Yeah, look, it's very quickly on that because it's an important thing. Black Friday was last week, wasn't it? Across the world in relation to deals you can get from places like Amazon and stuff. But the Gazzetta dello Sport, I think it was, or Corriere dello Sport. Anyway, I don't know which one it was, so I don't want to out the wrong one. But an Italian newspaper did a Black Friday centerpiece with Roma's Chris Smalling and Lukaku's Inter's Lukaku. Basically, a racist headline. It's just unbelievable. Look, the Sun gets a lot of stick. Daily Mirror, they all do. But can you imagine one of our UK national papers doing a headline like that? There's no what's the word? Ambiguity. It's absolute racism, and it's stunning. And it's disgusting. And I think, the reaction from the rest of the footballing world has been spot on. But it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Best 5 players you've ever seen, says MUFC Matt. Well, I'd include myself in that because I know how good I am, or was. But no, the best I've physically seen, Ronaldo. I haven't physically ever seen Messi, which is a shame. I haven't seen him, and I wish I had. And I do... To be honest, that needs to be on my bucket list to physically go and watch Messi, because it's something different to watch somebody physically than it is on the telly. A bit like porn and real life sex, isn't it? But Ronaldo, that's a good question, and I will come back to it, because when you say, if it's the 5 best players I've seen, like Ronaldo is one of the world's best players, but I might have only seen him once, and he might have had a bad game. He didn't. I've seen him a few times, and he played very, very well, but I've seen Beckham live and be absolutely world class. So I'd put Beckham in there, even though he's probably not one of the top 5 players ever in my lifetime. Come on, you Gooners, we can't be as bad as United, says Zamiasi. Yeah, we won last night, mates. We won last night. I watched Ronaldo for Portugal, says Jason Harris. First time I ever felt sorry for a manager being sacked, but Marco Silva seemed really let down, says Kjell Ander Egland. I don't have any sympathy, because in relation to Marco Silva, I actually thought in his Watford days he was a decent coach. But, Brighton have had 8 shots to Arsenal's 4. They've had 5 on target to Arsenal's 2. and they've had more possession. That's shocking when Arsenal are the home team. How can Spurs, United and Arsenal, for the players those teams have, be so crap, says Jordan Such. Very, very, very good question. Very, very, very good question. And I saw the paper this morning and was not shocked because it's Italy, says DJ. Yeah, just going back to that Black Friday comment, a few people. I mean, how does it get through an editor? I think, unfortunately, there are certain sections of Italy where racism is just acceptable, isn't it? And it's really surprising. It's really surprising in this modern day because Italy's not, Italy's an established, if you name your top 6 European countries, Italy would be in there, wouldn't it? So it is surprising. I'm talking about football there. Is it just me, or did Van Dijk get robbed of the Ballon d'Or, and will United be coming to the US for next pre-season, says Ataro Venegas? I expect Manchester United will be in America next summer. And for me, although I'm a United fan, I felt that Van Dijk deserved it over Messi. But I'm going to get all the Messi fans now saying them, I'm wrong, but I felt that they were. I felt that he was robbed a little bit. Do I think Arsenal will finish above United, to Sarah Garland? Well, she said it the other way around. I don't know. I think they're as bad as it. I think as a United fan sitting here and say, yeah, we're better than Arsenal, I think we're as bad as each other. I think that comment before about, being owned by people who aren't really interested in the football, the mediocrity that's been bought over the last few years leads to a deteriorating squad. The Arsenal squad's not good enough, the United squad's not good enough, and they will continue to be inconsistent. Zayn Miassi says, I saw Ronaldo when he played for Sporting against United. He ran O'Shea and Rio ragged. And Fitness Unscripted Sharath Kamas says, good question, but a simple answer. We don't watch enough of other clubs, and we assume that our players are better just because they played for a big club. Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Depends on Arsenal and who they bring in, says Biggie Smalls. Yeah, Lundberg's going to be gone very, very soon, isn't he? I mean, Arsenal, what I would say is, sack Freddie Iceberg, says Matty Newham. Arsenal need to get their manager in ASAP, because otherwise they're dropping too many points, aren't they? So, what's the name of the woman presenting this on Amazon Prime? I've never seen her before. What's the background? In no way am I saying why is a woman presenting, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. I've just never seen her before. I've seen the other one. I think, is she the one who plays for Juventus? She used to play for England. I forget her name. But Arsenal fans were booing at half-time, says Charles B. And Zayn Miassi says, this is a nightmare on Elm Street with Freddie at the wheel. Nice one. Manas says he's seen Javi in real life and he was awesome. Italians and the Spanish are very behind in race relations, says Derek Mendez. You should do a weekly fancy Premier League show and create your own league with prizes, says Eric Graves. A little bit late to do that mid-season, but certainly could consider it for next season. I'm so close to running out of hope for Arsenal, says Joe Baran. And Brexit FC with a Scandinavian manager, says Nova 5. And United are better than Arsenal, to be honest, says Kareem Sad. I wouldn't mind playing Arsenal at the moment as a United fan. They give you so much space, and I think that their defence is a circus. So I wouldn't mind playing them at the moment. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal losing 1-0 at the moment. Our next watch-along will be on Saturday lunchtime. Everton against Chelsea. I would already chosen we were going to do that anyway, but I think it takes on an even more interesting angle now that Everton will have no manager. Now, will Everton get a bounce? Or will they do an Arsenal? I'm amazed with Arsenal, really. I felt that Emery deserved to go, so I expected the players to bounce back. You sack a manager with games against Norwich and Brighton to come and you expect 6 points. And at the moment, they could be taking 1. And that reflects badly on the players. But Everton, Chelsea on Saturday. Everton in the bottom 3 after that loss last night. Will they bounce back? Everton are better than where they are. I don't know whether they're a top 8 side, but they are better than where they are. Chelsea doing fantastically well. MUFC, Matt, I'm not reading that out. Scrappy Red Devil says Man United are bad, but we're not Arsenal bad. So what do you think is going to happen in the second half, everybody? Can Arsenal turn it around? I think they will. I think they'll turn it around. Yeah, I do. I think that, you know, Brighton have been fantastic in that first half, but I don't think they got the goal they needed, which is the second goal. So I can see Arsenal. If Arsenal can't respond in that half, and I was an Arsenal fan, I would say it's not even about who the next manager is. You've got to sell most of that squad. You know, this is not Emery in charge. You're at home. You've been bossed by Brighton, who are one place above the relegation zone. There's no excuse. You've sacked your manager, so it's all on the players. This, you know, I know that Ljungberg's probably not a great coach, and they need a better coach, but they should still be able. They're still the better players. They've got the better team. They've got to come through in the second half. Do you think Arsenal should have done a Spurs and got a new manager in straight away, says Jordan Such? I don't think Arsenal, from what I know, Jordan, I don't think Arsenal were expecting to sack Emery as quick as they did. I genuinely think they thought they could stick with Emery till the end of the season, but then I think the weight of fan opinion against Emery forced Arsenal to make a decision, and I think Arsenal made a decision but didn't actually have a manager lined up, hence they brought Ljungberg in. Whilst they try and find a manager. They may have to move a little bit quicker now. But who are Arsenal going to go for? My fear is that somehow they'll get Pochettino, but that would be ridiculous. Ridiculously good for Arsenal. I don't think... I hope they go for Allegri, but I don't know whether Allegri would fancy the Arsenal job. Can they get Brendan Rodgers? I think Brendan Rodgers would be stupid to go to Arsenal, but he might fancy it. So, I don't know. They need a manager quick, though, because that league you can drop far very, very quickly. Zayn Miasi, come on you Gunners. London is red. Thanks for the contribution, Zayn. Unfortunately, spending large amounts of money on live comments does not make Arsenal win. But watching Newcastle dominate Sheffield is depressing as a United fan. I truly think Bruce is a better manager tactically than Ollie. Oh, Sheffield United, we should have won. We could have lost, but we should have won it. And Jurgen Alu says, I'd snatch up Pepe in the summer if things keep going this way and we fail to get Sancho, which we will without Champions League. Show moments of brilliance when playing, just being badly mismanaged. I'm actually quite surprised that Pepe is not getting into the team, but I was very surprised when Arsenal signed him, simply because I didn't think they had the money to do it. But he is a good player, Pepe. I've had a little bit of a joke on social media, Twitter, about it, but I have been pretty consistent in saying that he is a good player and I don't think he'll be a flop. But he is starting to become a bit of a flop, isn't he? Are you doing a watch-along for the United stand on Saturday in the derby, says Yvonne? When does the United stand not do a watch-along? Well, 100%. And do join us for the watch-along on Saturday on the United stand, because we have got a sponsorship with Just Eat, and which is a takeaway company, and they've got some good giveaways for you, so make sure you're joining. Shiam says, realistically, which midfielders should United buy in January? Well, I always felt that Emre Can was the obvious one because he's 25, so he's got experience. He's available. He's quite cheap. Pepe's coming on, by the way. But apparently that's not going to happen, so I've got no idea. If we're going for Longstaff, I'm like, what the hell are we doing? You know, what are we doing? Andrew Wetter says, will you root for City or United next week? What, in the Manchester Derby? Why would I not support the club I support? Pepe is the B-Tech. Ashley Young, says Damian Francis. Well, he's coming on now, and Arsenal do need to turn it around. Mark, when and how did Zane's love for you begin? Says Cope. I've got no idea. I've got no idea. Marcus Davies says, don't even lie, Mark. You're expecting Arsenal to lose tonight. Well, no, because I want Arsenal to lose because they're a rival, aren't they? So I want them to lose. So I will always try and do the reverse psychology, of course. But I don't see how Arsenal, you're 1-0 down. You deserve to be 1-0 down. I don't see how they can't flip it in this second half and come back. And Mark, I heard if Corbyn wins, he will nationalise Arsenal, says Zane Miassi. And it's a red contribution and it's a very generous one. Thank you, Zane, but please don't do any more. I always feel bad when you're making those sort of contributions. Corbyn to nationalise Arsenal. They might do a little bit better with that. Robbie should just buy Arsenal. I think that would be... Imagine all these Amazon Prime series. It can't be long before Robbie can afford to buy Arsenal. I think Arsenal run by Arsenal Fan TV would just be very interesting, wouldn't it? I'd love United stand to run Manchester United as well, but we're not on that level. Wayne Rogerson, have you been to Telford, Mark? Yeah? Right, let's see what happens in this second half. It would help if I started the timer, wouldn't it? So we are... There we go. When is El Clasico? That's just before Christmas, isn't it? I'm going to try and see if I can do a watch along for that. Duncan Ferguson is Everton's interim, says Vinnie Clough. It's always difficult with an interim manager, isn't it? How long they stay in place, because you can stay in place for a few months, or you can just be there for a couple of games if you don't do particularly well. And I think with Ljungberg that could be the case. You know what though? I think Pepe. Oh, why didn't he hit that first time? A little bit of flick back from Ozil. I must admit, I have seen Arsenal over the years do a lot of this against teams they should be beating, go behind, and then they end up winning it from behind. That's what she said. December the 18th for El Clasico. Got my diary here. Let's have a look. What a tackle that was. Bloody hell. Brighton wanted a free kick there. It wasn't given. I think they were very angry about it. Oh, yes. El Clasico's on Wednesday the 18th when we're playing Colchester in the Carabao Cup. Great. What's that in your mouth, Big Daddy? That's what she said, Marius Caverna. Chewing gum. What's your thoughts on Simeone to Arsenal, says Cameron Skillen? I mean, I think Arsenal fans, if you got Simeone, you'd have to be very happy. But would his style of football suit Arsenal? You know, he'd have to start winning games quickly. I said this in the first half. I think Arsenal fans are going to be very impatient from now on. And I think the only way you're going to break that impatience is if you play a certain brand of football. And Simeone doesn't really play that brand of football. But Pepe there does well. Brighton not really able to get out at the moment. But Arsenal coming out like a greyhound from a greyhound racing track. You look like Wes Brown. All right, whatever. You might want to go Specsavers tomorrow, but I've had people say I look like Wayne Rooney, Ed Woodward, Leonardo DiCaprio. Good and bad. Where is Ceballos? Alfie, I've got no idea. I don't know. Is Ceballos injured? I mean, let's have a quick look at that, because I've got to say, when Ceballos went to Arsenal, the first few games of the season, and knowing what he was like at Real Madrid, fantastic player. But again, he just doesn't seem to get picked much. And he must be injured because he's not even on the bench. So this game is getting dirty, says Palmeiras. I can see a penalty at some point, to be fair. Yeah, he is injured, says Thomas Triggs. And we've got a goal for Arsenal, flicked on by Lacazette. Onto the back post, and Arsenal are back level. They've started well this second half, to be fair, and I did expect Arsenal to come back into it, and it's Kolasinac who nods it in on the back post, and Ljungberg's happy with that. Pants model. I don't think there's going to be any VAR referral with this. Comes in, Lacazette gets up well, and Kolasinac, he looks like he might have been offside, but I think it's more to do with the angle. And it's not Kolasinac who scores, it's actually an own goal. Mark DiCaprio, your club is sinking just like the Titanic, says Amy Assey. Just because you've equalised. You look like Leonardo DiCaprio's reflection in the back of a spoon, says Murray. And it is 1-1. There is no VAR with that one, so it clearly wasn't offside. It must have just been the angle. I do think that, I think the more we get used to VAR, the more we get used to this pause after a goal, don't we? I really don't like it. I really don't. I think it's taken so much away from that instant sort of passion moment or reaction moment, and I think that's a sad thing, because with both the goals tonight, I've sort of been thinking there might be a hand in there. And, on neither of those occasions should either of the goals been disallowed, but we've become so used to them being disallowed that we almost preempt it. We're going to be a few seconds behind now. Well, Newcastle, and that's a corner for them. Right, let me just close this. Damiasi's back in with a goal sticker. Newcastle have won at Sheffield United. I was buffering a bit there, so I'm just getting back. Corner to Brighton. They're going to have to go again now. And Leno's got it. David Agora says Arsenal will go on and win 3-1 now. I'm actually going to take my chewing gum out because I find chewing gum quite irritating when someone's talking to me, and I am talking in front of 3,000 people, so I will take it out. It's just something I had in before I went live and I forgot to take it out, so apologies for that. Bad manners if it was irritating you. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. I don't know whether we can hit 106,000 tonight, but I'll certainly have a look. Arsenal looking like a different team second half, which is what I predicted. I did predict it. Mark, did you ever watch Top Gear when it was good? Says Keep Metal Live E100. I didn't, and I've got nothing against Top Gear, but I've never really been into it, if that makes sense. Pepe, bit of skill there. We could hit 106,000 tonight. We're 200 short. So please do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Oh, lazy defending there. Bellerin behind Aubameyang. Should have been 2-1, I think. But Brighton have switched off here. They're playing like they did at Old Trafford. And the game is there for the taking if Arsenal want to take it. How much is too much to spend on football boots, says Sebastian United? I don't know, mate. I don't know now because I don't really play football that much. The football boots I've got, I just keep wearing. And also, when we got the United Stand kit with Kit Locker, they gave us, me, Flex and Ransom, free boots. And the boots I've got apparently are quite good. But I hardly ever wear them. So they'll be... And my feet aren't going to get any smaller. So I don't really buy football boots. But I think football boots can be up like 150, 200 quid for a decent pair, can't they? I hate VAR and I love football more here in Sweden because of it. I hope the rest of Europe doesn't follow this moronic system, says Bjorn Rosengren. I agree. I think it's sad that both goals tonight I've been like, well, they might get disallowed because it's become what we're used to, isn't it? I do agree with you on that one. Oh, Arsenal are going to score in a minute. Another good cross, and again, Aubameyang just missing out. Harrison Holt says, technically, if this stays the same, United will be in 6th. Not bad considering our position a few weeks ago. Yeah, but if we lose to Man City on the weekend, we'll be back down to 10th again, possibly. Zed Jamie says, Arsenal are dominating now. It's not 2-1, Voyo. Brighton are so bad, says Ollie Jab. They were really good in the first half, Ollie. Second half, they've been really poor. But I think what's happened is Arsenal were just dreadful in the first half and Brighton had it all their own way. Second half, Arsenal have actually realised, we've got to do a little bit better and their quality is starting to come through. And Brighton are struggling to react at the moment, but it doesn't mean that they won't get back into it. I mean, Brighton have not really created anything this half yet. Opta live win probability is 44% for Arsenal now. I don't know how that stat's come about, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? Torreira's given a foul away, but now gone down injured. Sahil Samed says that Pepe is better than Dan James. Well, that may be the case, but it isn't, is it? Because you've got to go and prove it. And over the last 3 to 4 months, Dan James has proved he's the better player because he's produced on the pitch. Pepe might be the better talent. I would have said that in the summer, but he hasn't proved it on the pitch, has he? And that goal should be Lacazette's. It is Lacazette's because it doesn't touch an Arsenal player afterwards. Rory Hartnett says Brighton will be relegated. I predicted Brighton would get relegated at the start of the season. I also predicted Liverpool would win the league and everyone said, you're mad. Man City will do it again. I don't want Liverpool to win the league. I don't care if Brighton get relegated. And Zero Blade says, pure quality-wise, Pepe may be better, but right now Dan James has performed and Pepe hasn't, which I think is what I was trying to say. So, yeah, you're spot on. You see, you do feel an Arsenal goal's coming, but they don't want to leave themselves too stretched because Brighton have shown consistently that they can create chances and move the ball around, and they're doing it now, and they can get at Arsenal's back four again, and Moy is available, and they found him. Bellerin's going to have to close him down quick. Moy. And that's another corner. Smutty says, I predicted Arsenal would get relegated. I think I probably am a few seconds behind, but if I'm behind, this is the problem with Amazon Prime, isn't it? Because you're just in the hands of the stream. I can't get any further ahead than I am at the moment. So, corner to Brighton. Knocks it short into Moy. Cross comes in, and Arsenal will get rid of that. Do I think Paul Pogba will be back for Saturday? I reckon he will add an extra level of creativity if he plays as CAM in front of Fred and McTominay, says Harrison Holt. I'll be very surprised if Pogba plays on Saturday, but you never know. You never know. I personally think it will be the same team. I don't think Martial or Pogba will be back. And now, Aubameyang nearly getting in there. We've got about half an hour to go in this. Shambon Banana says you're definitely behind. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Sometimes I'm just going to wait for this attack. United fans, don't forget you wasted nearly 200 million on Lukaku and Pogba and 80 million on Maguire, who is a B-Tech John Terry. You did. I presume, Zane, you're trying to justify the money you've spent on Pepe. We're all, as I said before, United and Arsenal all as bad as each other. How did he miss? Brighton, how did they miss there? Moy heads it down, and it's going to be a corner, but he should have just whacked it in. And Brighton now getting back into the game like they did in the first half, but the cross comes in, Moy heads it down, it drops to a Brighton player, and he just can't get it out of his feet, to be fair. He's in the 6-yard box when it drops to him. Cameron Skillen says, love the channel. What do you think about the... What do you think about the Euros? I'm looking forward to the Euros. We'll be doing a lot of watch-alongs on this channel in the Euros like we did in the World Cup a couple of years ago. But I'm looking forward to the Euros. I think England will get out of the group, but if you look at who England will have to play in the quarterfinals when they get out of the group, it's going to be one of, is it France, Germany or Portugal? They will play one of those, so that straight away makes it very, very difficult. We got 70 million back for Lukaku, says Fitness and Kamath. Exactly. Pepe's just gone down injured here. It's totally accidental, but it'll probably be a yellow card. Dream United team for next season, says Axel Nielsen. Too hard. Too hard, because United will probably only sign 2 or 3 players, won't they? Oh no, they've gone too quick with the free kick there with Bellerin. Ollie Jab says, have you noticed how close some of the Manchester United fixtures are over Christmas? Ollie, I haven't, but I tell you what, I'm going to now. I'm going to take a look. But Arsenal have got a free kick in a decent situation here. I wouldn't imagine United fixtures are any closer together than anybody else's. But we play Alkmaar on Thursday after City on Saturday. Then we're playing Everton at home on the Sunday. And that's a goal for Arsenal. Like as David Luiz, awful defending from Brighton here. Quick free kick, and it looks like they should have 4 or 5 offside, but it's just shocking defending. Brighton are asking questions about this to the referee, but I don't think... Oh, he's miles off. He's miles off. So this is... I feel sorry for the Arsenal fans here, because the linesman should have his flag up for that. The linesman's shit there. That is miles off. Absolutely miles off. So that won't be a goal by VAR. It's not a goal. And I feel for the Arsenal fans here, because the linesman should be getting that. The linesman should be getting that. He's miles off. There's 3 of them offside. The linesman's looking down the line as well. That's just shit. Really bad from the linesman. And I don't feel sorry for Arsenal fans, actually, but it's miles offside. And that's one where, as a fan, that you're just annoyed by that, because Arsenal fans will be going, they hate VAR. And Zayn Miasi's actually, take the L, Zayn. Take the L. He's done a £20 goal celebration. Take your L, because I've told you before, wait for VAR. But from Arsenal's point of view, I'd be annoyed with the linesman. He's there looking all happy with himself, but it's not one of those VAR ones where you're off by an inch. 3 of them are clearly offside, and the linesman should be getting that. So Arsenal go and celebrate a goal, and it was miles offside. Louise makes a mistake, but Brighton have picked it up. I think it's open for it's open there, isn't it? It's open. We will have a look at those Christmas fixtures in a minute, but at the moment this game's rather interesting. Poor old Zayn, he's just took a massive L. I did upload Going for Goldbridge on my channel today, actually. It was about my worst ever Christmas party. In fact, there's 3. So if you want to give that a watch after here, that's on the Mark Goldbridge channel. That's just where I do like the Q&As and stuff. So do give it a watch and subscribe to that channel. But I still think Arsenal will go on and win this game, Zayn. So don't worry about it, or any Arsenal fans. I do think Arsenal will go on and win it. But again, I think VAR... The worrying thing is that goal might have been given if we didn't have VAR as well. It's just awful linesmen, that is. So, and I think that's where VAR does work well, because it would have been an absolute injustice if that goal had been given, and it would have been given without VAR, wouldn't it? A bit easier, 3 dream transfers, says Axel Nelson. 3 dream... Well... If I could sign 3 dream players for Manchester United, I'd bring Kante in the midfield. I'd bring Messi in to play off the right. And I would bring in... It would have to be a number 10. I'd probably have a serious look at Kevin De Bruyne, to be honest with you. This is lovely play by Arsenal. And a lovely bit of defending as well. Sweet, really good play that by Arsenal, to be fair. From back to front, really, really quick. Pepe played Aubameyang in, and Alzate covered it very, very well. Good driving run by Pepe, and he has got a lot. I mean, that's good play by Pepe, to be fair. Good play. He's a good player. He's a good player. Ozil with the cross. Brighton clear. Next goal is going to be key in this. Here's Pepe. He's played well since he came on. Oh, good block there. I think with Pepe, from what I've seen of him, it's not that he plays bad. He probably just doesn't get the rub of the green he would like to have. David Luiz is probably going to get booked now. Said Jamie, says Brighton are hanging on. I think Arsenal have got to go for the win, said Jamie. Of course, in any circumstance, they've got to go for the win. And I think that gives Brighton a bit of a chance on the break. And I think the next goal, whoever scores the next goal ain't going to lose the game. So they're going to get a point or a win. So we're sort of approaching that last 20-minute period now, aren't we? So Arsenal are going to go for this. Brighton have just got to keep at it, try to defend well. And they've not really created anything in the second half like they did in the first half. So then if they can get back into that gear... Another header towards them there. I'm going to buy the DeLorean from Back to the Future and go back in time and assassinate the person who came up with VAR, says Zayn Miasi. Yeah, because you took a big L there, didn't you? I'll tell you what, Zayn, you need to get into the mindset of a lot of us now. When a goal goes in, it's very sad, because this is what VAR has turned me into. But when a goal goes in now, I don't actually celebrate as much as I used to. Notorious 1990 says, have you and Flex stopped the podcasts? We have for the moment, because we just couldn't do it for 2 weeks. So I really like doing the podcasts, but it's about finding the time to do it. I think we will get back doing it, to be fair. Ooh, Cut back cross from Lacazette. Ozil wants a corner from a shot. Player of the year, it's got to be Mane currently, says Adrian. Well, Lacazette's off here anyway. That linesman on the other side is absolutely shit. He's awful, isn't he? That linesman is awful. Look, Lacazette was offside there as well. Goal kick. I think Kieran Tierney's coming on for Arsenal. "20 minutes to go. I fancy Arsenal to find a winner in this, but Brighton, to be honest with you, Brighton will have lost the last 4 games in a row playing Manchester United, Leicester, Liverpool and Arsenal. And in every one of those games, the only one where I think they definitely should have lost was United. The Leicester game was quite to and fro. The Liverpool game was 2-1. And today, again, they could have won under different circumstances, but they're probably going to end up losing 4 in a row. So maybe, to be fair to Brighton, maybe they won't go down because against the lesser teams, they'll probably be a little bit too good because they are very they're very well drilled. They play a very good system, but I don't think they're going to get something today. Ina Moran says that for me that De Bruyne is the player of the year so far. I'm really looking forward to that United game on Saturday. I know Man City are favourites, but I tell you what, if United can go and get something against a team like that in their backyard, that's progress. So I'm excited about it because we're really going to see how good United are then. I think there's going to be a yellow card here for Alzati. I don't know whether there's nothing in that. I wouldn't even give him a yellow card, to be fair. Kolasinac is coming off anyway for Tierney. City very suspect defensively this year, says George Kyle. Exactly. I would. I think United. I really did think that United would get beat in that game, but I think having beaten Spurs, you've got to start showing some progress, and I think they've got to come out of that game with at least, well, I'm not going to say at least a point, but I think they've got to come out of that game with a point. We can't just go and expect to get beaten. There's got to be progress. Come on, you Gunners, let's show Mark and Co how football is played, says Zane. That's never going to happen unless you've got a time machine to go back 20 years. I'm buffering again. Stop buffering. Amazon Prime. I do like the Prime Video broadcasting stuff. Imagine £8 a month for all the football, says Zed Jamie. Well, I've had Amazon. I've had this is fine for me. I don't mind it because I've had Amazon Prime for years. I have Amazon Prime for the next day delivery, and I quite like the. If people don't know, Amazon Prime is a little bit like Netflix. It's not as good as Netflix, but it has got stuff on there. It's got the complete collection of the US Office that you can watch for free, and there is some good series on there. There's some good football documentaries as well. So, but I get a lot of stuff off Amazon, so the next day delivery was always something I liked. I do like the old top right hand corner where you can go stats and highlights as well. 50-50 possession. I mean, the interesting thing is, this is quite interesting, that Arsenal have only had 3 shots on target, whereas Brighton have had 8 across the whole game. Corner again. 15 minutes to go then. TS Key Person who says, everyone please say your mic's muted. Yeah, that's only going to work if I don't see your live comment, you prat. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, our next watch along will be Saturday lunchtime, Everton against Chelsea. Remember, Everton have sacked their manager. And then I think the next one after that will probably be West Ham, Arsenal on Monday Night Football. FIFA is going to be tomorrow, Kieran Spencer. I'm going to play a bit of FIFA tomorrow lunchtime. And obviously United Stand will be doing the Manchester derby between United and City. Can't wait for that. And also, as I was saying earlier, we've got an integration with Just Eat. Did somebody say Just Eat? We've got an integration with Just Eat. I've got all this stuff. Got napkins, the lot. And we've got discount codes. So don't eat on Saturday. Don't keep your options open on Saturday night, because you might be able to order yourself a nice Just Eat takeaway and get a good discount on it. So that's all I can say at the moment. But make sure you join us at about 4:30 on the United Stand on Saturday afternoon, because we've got some good Just Eat integrations for you. And Brighton nearly scored, and Arsenal clear it. I say nearly scored. They got a shot off. It got blocked. 15 minutes to go. I still think Arsenal will find a winner. You can't come in as an interim manager and take 2 points from 6 against Norwich and Brighton. There's got to be a bounce. But it's Brighton coming forward again. Oh my life. I don't know what he was doing there, but he got into a good position and ended up putting out for a goal kick, the Brighton player. And Martinelli is coming on for Arsenal. And it's Lacazette coming off. Good player. Yeah, Zane, I'm not even going to read that comment out, because I don't have to read Super Chats out. And I'm clearly not going to read that out when we've got an integration with a different brand. So just a bit of clarity there why I'm not reading it out. I think Martinelli's just come on and gone down injured here. Goes up for a header and gets landed on by Webster, who's double his size, really. So he's up now. Lacazette's an average player, says Darth Maul. I call him the French Charlie Austin, and people always say, ha, take the L when he scores a goal. But Charlie Austin scores goals. What I mean about Lacazette is that he's just, I agree, I think he's a bit average. Potato Goat says, I can't believe United would have been 2 points off the top if they beat Villa and Sheffield this season. Really was there for us if we could. 2 points off the top? I think you mean 2 points off top 4. You don't get 20 points each for not losing to Villa and Sheffield United, for not drawing with Sheffield United and Villa. Right, somebody did say, can you have a look at the Christmas fixtures, especially for United, because it's very congested. So United are playing next few games, City on Saturday, AZ Alkmaar on Thursday. Then they've got Everton on the Sunday the 15th. Then they're playing Colchester on Wednesday the 18th. Then they're playing on the Sunday against Watford on the 22nd. And then we don't play until Boxing Day, which is Newcastle, on the 26th. But then we play on the 28th, 2 days later, against Burnley. So 26th, 28th, and then on the 1st, which is 3 days after that. So, and then 3 days after that in the Cup against Wolves, and then you get a week off until we play Norwich. And then we've got Liverpool on the 19th of Jan. It never stops. Brighton are on the attack here. Will they get another corner? Arsenal have gone a little bit off the boil. A bit off the Suzanne. Europa League. Now, somebody said to me that United have already confirmed top position in the Europa League, but I don't think that they have. No, they haven't. United haven't got top in the Europa League for definite. If AZ Alkmaar beat them, then AZ Alkmaar are top. So that's still an important game for United, because if you finish top of the group, you get an easier round in the Europa League. So that would be a bit of a bad thing for us to lose. That makes that more of a competitive game. I don't think we can play the kids, is what I was going to say. It's not 2-1 to Brighton, don't worry. Although they are on the attack here. Moy. It is 2-1 to Brighton. I've just said it wasn't. It is 2-1 to Brighton. It's Morpay who scores it. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to put a tweet out. What's his name? Lundberg out. I don't think he ever had a chance of being in. There's definitely not going to be an offside. There's definitely no hint of a handball. And as I said, it's a lovely goal. Moy with the assist. Moy, the architect. But it's Arsenal losing. From getting back in front, they're losing. And I don't see them getting anything other than a draw now. Somebody says wait for VAR. I can't see how VAR's got anything to do with this. No, there's nothing in that. That's a goal. There's no hint of an offside. There's no hint of a handball. It can only be a goal. And the ref kicks it off. So 2-1. And Arsenal, well, I don't normally watch AFTV. I just think I said this to DT and Troops on Tuesday. I said, where do you go from here if you start losing games? Because you haven't got a manager to blame. You've got to blame your players. And the reality is, we already know that people like Troops gets on with Aubameyang and people like that. And they get on with a lot of these players. So are they going to start calling out some of these players who they get on with when they haven't got a manager to scapegoat? Here's a hint to you Arsenal fans. It's your bloody players. It's not just your coach. It's your players. Your players are shit. And football's a team game. So you need to start going in on your players. It's the same problem at United. Brilliant one day, crap the next. Zamiasi, at least we won't make the same mistake and appoint a legend at the club. This will mean that we'll get a good manager, Pochettino or Nuno, while you'll be stuck with Ollie. Well, actually, that's the most sense you've made all night. But you've got no chance of appointing Lundberg, have you? Because he's had 2 easy games and he's taken 1 point. Ollie came in and couldn't stop winning for 3 months. So there were mitigating circumstances and reasons as to why we took Ollie. I mean, Lundberg's got absolutely no chance, you're right. Pepe, shot straight at the keeper. I must just do this. I'm sorry to rub this in for you, Zane, but let me just tell you where you are in the league, Arsenal fans. You currently sit in 10th. Oh, dear. You're currently in 10th place, right? You've just taken 1 point. You've sacked your manager, and you've taken 1 point from Norwich and Brighton. And you're in 10th place. Nothing like making a change, is there? Your next few fixtures, where you can turn it around a little bit more. Let me just tell you what your next few fixtures are for Arsenal. West Ham away on Monday. We'll be doing a watch-along for that. Join us for that one, definitely. Then you've got Manchester City on Sunday the 15th. And after that, you go to you go to Everton, and then Bournemouth, and then Chelsea. You might not win again this year. Arsenal. There's some girl with a big Arsenal hat going, it's a joke. Yeah, sack your manager, take 1 point, go to 10th, and next game West Ham away, followed by Man City, followed by Everton away, then Bournemouth away, then Chelsea. Good luck. All I want for Christmas is a win, win, win. All I want. At least you can sit and watch DT and Troops absolutely annihilate themselves. Someone call an ambulance, because they're going to be blowing out their arse later. Look, you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. And I tell you what, I don't say this with any... Well, I do say it with a lot of satisfaction, actually. But I feel your pain because United are the same. But where's your bounce? Like, at least we sacked Mourinho and we got a bounce for 3 months. You sack Emery. Oh, Emery out, Emery out, Emery out. And you get worse. You know, no wonder you're the banter club. You get worse. It's your players. Stop interacting with your Arsenal players on social media. Oh, look at me. Look at me interacting with all these Arsenal players. They're shit. They're shit. That's your problem. This is why I don't have any United players following me, because I'm not scared to say that they're crap when they're crap. I don't want them to interact with me because I want my club to be good. But the Arsenal boys, they're a bit different. They don't want to blame the players. We only want to blame 1 or 2 players. It's your... Where's Mustafi today? He's not even bloody playing, so you can't blame him. Zane says, a few people saying I'm a drug dealer. The only drugs I buy is cigars, and I'll be smoking one tonight to cope with how rubbish we've been. It's tough, isn't it, when you're in December and you're mid-table? It's tough. We've been there. We might be back there. To be honest, Zane, United might be back there on Saturday. The funny thing is that, well, you can't go above us on Saturday night if we lose to City because you're not playing till Monday, but other teams could go above us. But Brighton are now looking for a third. Arsenal not looking anywhere near like they're going to get a draw. A 6'6" centre-back at left-back is dominating Pepe, says Lincoln. Lincoln, I'm just going to nick it and tweet it. I'm openly going to say that. Just watch my Twitter because I think that will actually do quite well. And it would be wasted on somebody who hasn't got the... Just watch my Twitter and see how that will bang. Well done, Lincoln. You can't really tweet it and say thanks to Lincoln. It's just got to go. But we're all a team. Oh, what a save. Oh, tell you what. We're all taking a... Tony94 says, Jesus Christ, what a save by Ryan. I don't know whether it would have been an own goal. Because it seemed to be a cross from Tierney. It's a lovely cross. No, it wouldn't have been an own goal. It was, I think it was Xhaka. No, it wasn't Xhaka. It was Martinelli. Lovely header. I mean, he's a talent. Martinelli is a talent, to be fair. Cross by Tierney. Martinelli gets on it. It's heading towards the bottom corner with the flick header. And keeper makes a save. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Our next watch-along is going to be Everton versus Chelsea. Somebody said to me tonight, why are you doing this game? It's boring. When I pick a watch-along, it tends to be a good game. So join us for Everton versus Chelsea on Saturday lunchtime. I'm doing FIFA tomorrow lunchtime. So we're back in the groove on this channel. Please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. We're trying to get to 106,000 tonight. I can tell you that we're probably going to fall a little bit short, but please subscribe at bottom right-hand corner. Everybody's welcome on here. Even Arsenal fans, you'll get your revenge at some point. But this is not the United Stand. This is That's Football. We do watch-alongs, all sorts of stuff on here, and everyone's welcome. So, Arsenal have a corner. And to be honest with you, even if Arsenal draw, I still think that's funny. Even if they draw, it's funny. I think Pratt's coming on, isn't he? No, Shane Duffy. I'm sick of that wig-wearing Cronky ruining my club. He should give it to Claude and sell up, says Zane Miassi. I thought you were going to say about that wig-wearing clown at centre-back, David Luiz, because it's not a wig, is it? But who's your top four, Mark, says Andrew Wright. Current top four now. Spurs losing to United yesterday. United will drop points as well. That's never a free kick there on the edge of the box. I don't know what that's all about. Mr. Tumble, Pepe there. Never a foul. He absolutely played for that. Right on the edge of the box. Trossard. No, actually it was a foul. I thought he just dived really, but Trossard's really stupid doing that. Yeah, so my top four are definitely Liverpool and Man City. And I think Leicester and Chelsea, because I just don't see the consistency of anybody catching up with them. I mean, Arsenal aren't going to get top four, aren't they? You know, they're like United. Yeah, they can beat anybody, but they can lose to anybody. I mean, 1 point from Norwich and Brighton. That's That's relegation form, isn't it? And that's what happened there. I don't care if Arsenal get a late equaliser, because it's still 2 points dropped. Get Dalglish on. We need to do another draft on this channel, actually. FIFA draft. I quite enjoyed that. So, Pepe with a late equal. It's a very good position for him to score. Wide. 2-1. He should be getting that on target, really. I think it's gone for a corner. Keeper's got that covered anyway. We're into the 90th minute now. How long will they be added on? I'm thinking 4 or 5 minutes. Over 4,000 of you watching. So good that so many of you get involved in this channel. Please do keep tuning in. I've really enjoyed it. We always have a bit of banter in these games. I know there's some Arsenal fans here. There won't be any Brighton fans, but realistically, it's just football games we watch away from the clubs that we support. So I know there'll be a lot of United fans, probably some Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and everything. But 4 minutes added on. They're all heading off to queue up for Robbie. Robbie better get one of those... you know what Robbie needs to get? He needs to get one of those queuing systems like they have at Alton Towers for rides. You know, the roller coaster. The flip-flopper. Yeah, the flip-flopper ride. That's what Robbie needs. He needs to get some sort of queuing system. You get a ticket and you queue up to speak to Robbie on the flip-flopper ride. This is a disgrace, says Zayn Miasi. If Arsenal fans are anything like we are as United fans, at this point, even if you get a late equaliser, you'd probably rather lose because you're just pissed off. And a draw makes you think, oh, well, we've got a point. It's not. As an Arsenal fan, you won't even want a point. You'll just be pissed off and you'd probably rather lose. I've been in that position. You know, a draw's not good enough. They need to be winning these sort of games. 1 point from 6. Hilarious, though. How do you take 1 point from Norwich and Brighton? As Arsenal. Doesn't matter who your manager is, who your interim is. That's on the players, that is. That's shocking, isn't it? Well, United play Arsenal on New Year's Day. I wish we were playing them today. United would beat these, definitely. I wish we were playing Arsenal. They'll probably get a decent manager in by then. But then again, they're not going to get decent players in. So if I was a manager, you know, if you're like, whoever you are looking at this Arsenal job, you've got to be watching Arsenal and going, my reputation's on the line here. Mark, when's the last time you went to Waitrose? Says the Football 454. God knows. 2 or 3 years. 2 minutes of the 4 gone. Arsenal, I wouldn't say they're laying siege to the goal. I'll tell you what they should do. They should pick Kieran Tierney. He's got a lovely cross. But Brighton on the break now. And that's a poor pass, but they've managed to keep hold of it. And he's just kicked it to Leno. Minute and a half left. Per Folkestone, when was the last time you went to a game? The last United game I went to was Southampton back in March. I've been wanting to go a couple of times this season, but it's difficult when you're doing all the watch-alongs and stuff. Brighton might make it 3 over the bar, but that's just good use of the time by Trossard, who's a good player. Obama what? Obama who? Says Fitness Unscripted. A minute to go for Arsenal. You've just got to blame the players, haven't you? I mean, Ozil again, 90 minutes, Mr. Invisible Man. They should just be doing way, way better than they are. Way better than they are. And you can say it's tactics, you can say it's down to the manager, but ultimately it's very similar to Manchester United. On their day, Arsenal can beat anybody, but on their day, they can lose to anybody. And I'd be very interested to see what Arsenal do over the weekend. Will they go to West Ham with Freddie Ljungberg in charge? Because even as an interim, he should be sacked. Norwich and bloody Brighton. 1 point. And there it is. Final whistle. Brighton 2-1. Only what they deserved. Arsenal losing only what they deserved. And the boos ring out. And Ljungberg, the Poundland Ollie. Well, I don't think he'll be in charge on Monday, do you? But absolutely thoroughly enjoyable. Another good watch along. Lots more to come. We'll be doing Everton versus Chelsea on Saturday lunchtime. I'll probably play a bit of FIFA tomorrow lunchtime on here as well. Thanks everyone for watching. I know where you're going to be heading later. Subscribe if you're new. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoying doing these watch-alongs away from United because there's less stress involved. I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.